and they have, that's basically meaning that they want to get livestock production down. And then here's right here, support and encourage the adoption of low-level emission vehicles and EVs. But here's the biggest one right here in their actual document. It says right here, measure 4.2, reduce the transition to 100% clean energy. So what that means essentially is that we're getting rid of gasoline engines completely. With clean energy, they need electricity. So that's basically, ruining our way of life, because that's going to make everybody in the county saying, oh, you have to buy a new electric vehicle, a Tesla. And I don't really think very many people in this county can afford that. They might be able to afford that in San Francisco or the Bay Area. But for here, they're definitely not going to have that done. And here's something right here, measure 5.1, reduce water consumption, and that's actually completely in line with Gavin Newsom. He's actually saying, oh, due to the drought, even though we've been having a lot more rain than usual, he's basically saying that we can't, the farmers can't have water for their crops. He's actually been reducing the water they're allowed to have. You guys can actually look into that, but it's really, and it's right here, measure 5.1. So this is actual ordinance that the county wants to pass in the climate action plan. Reduce water consumption for irrigation and agriculture. So if you just think about that, we're reducing water consumption for irrigation and agriculture. That means that the population will have to go down because we're not making nearly as many crops. And that's definitely a huge, I think, completely crazy thing that they have in here. And there's also even something right here, measure 2.4. This is a really big one because it says right here, improve indoor air quality by replacing wood-burning fireplaces and other wood-burning appliances. So that's basically a blanket statement right here, part of their plan. And this is actually, their measure saying that we want to get rid of your wood fireplaces. You're not allowed to burn wood, which is actually one of the cheapest energy sources at the moment, especially with the rise in gasoline and everything else. So it's just completely crazy, this plan. And at the same time, we actually, we saw with the TUD board, they actually said that they're not going to be getting these water rights because PG&E is deciding, we're going to think about it because Tuolumne County is trying to get local control over our water rights again. But one of the main people who actually tried stopping this, I'm just going to read this here because this is really important. The person who spearheaded the climate action plan did this. So it says the backstory is that Executive Director John Buckley has cited an agreement from 1938 that was brought up by former PG&E manager Dave Schweitzer at a recent TUD meeting. Schweitzer noted that TUD has water diversion rights from Sullivan Creek, Curtis Creek, and Mormon Creek, and Buckley referenced Schweitzer's report in statements last week to the media, including Clark Broadcasting. So Buckley argued, now that new information has recently been discovered that shows that TUD and the county actually do have water rights that were granted by PG&E in the 1983 purchase agreement, there is even less of a reason for TUD ratepayers to be forced to pay for the takeover of a money-losing PG&E facility. So he's basically saying a lie there because TUD does not own the water rights, and he's basically not wanting, the local county to have control over our water rights. He said, a lengthy pause in any future negotiation makes good sense. So, and then the guy said, to refute that, Skysa referred to Buckley's statements as an allusion, adding, I want to make it clear from my perspective, having worked here as long as I have for 17 years, that there are no secret water rights or newly discovered information that impacts the district's ability to provide water to its customers. Spence went on to say, if you look at those water rights from Sullivan and Mormon and Curtis Creek, they have something in common. They are not available when you need it, and late winters into the spring, there's natural water. So basically, he was saying that. But the big thing that was really huge, though, is that this Buckley, he actually owns a climate change organization in Twainhart, and he's received $200,000 in government grants. It's about that sum, so that's his biggest donator. And he wants to basically reduce water consumption. He doesn't want, the main thing, he doesn't want TUD making any new, allowing any water hookups. He doesn't want any new water hookups in the county. So that basically means no new people, and he wants to get rid of existing water hookups, which is basically, the water hookups is how the water gets into the house, so it's completely crazy. And it's called the Central Sierra Environmental Resource Center, and they actually sued the county too. He's been trying to basically, threaten the county to make these, put in these measures, so it's pretty crazy.
And they wouldn't have the water, the CUD gets it for free, from PG&E right now, and if we don't buy it, if it's sold to somebody else, then they'll be able to have all the water. They can cut us off.
The state made a better offer.
Yeah, we wanted,
Yeah, that's what the state is exactly doing. And another thing that I didn't mention is the state is actually doing a buyback program with farmers. They made it's like multi-billion dollars program basically to buy water rights from farmers to try to get farmers to sell their water rights, because once they buy all the water rights, to Tuolumne County and the state of California, there's no way the average citizen is ever going to get them back, because the state will never sell them again, and then we're completely, destroyed, and it's completely crazy. So our rural county is going to be voting on this, I believe, next week, the same Tuesday as today. So I'll definitely keep everybody. Does anybody have any thoughts or any questions also on this?